Of all the doctrines that underpin the ideas of the so-called Christian churches, the major doctrine that underpins all of their beliefs is the belief in the immortality of the soul of man. This doctrine is so important that the doctrines that hinge upon it are going to heaven when you die, or going to hell when you die, and the rewards of the righteous are either in heaven in bliss or in hell in torment. When we look, however, at what the Bible has to say about the immortal soul, we find some huge problems. The first problem that occurs is that those two words never occur together. You'll never find the word or the phrase immortal soul in the Bible. In fact, if you go to the Old Testament, you will find some rather strange things are said about the soul. The reason for this is that if the doctrine of the immortal soul is true, then we have to find somewhere for the souls to go. So they've either got to go up or they've got to go down, supposedly according to the churches. However, if the doctrine is false, that there is no immortal soul, then there is no life after death. There is no going to heaven when you die for the righteous, or going to hell for the unrighteous. So this underpins the major doctrines which are found in the Bible. When we go, however, to the words immortal soul, and we don't find them there, what do we find in relation to the word soul? Man does not possess an immortal soul. In scriptural terms, he is a soul. So that when we go to Genesis chapter 2 and look at the creation of man in the beginning, it says this, that God formed man of the dust of the ground. So here we have an inanimate object lying on the ground, formed like a man, looks like a man, but it has no life. And then the record tells us that God breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Now, the same word which is used for soul in relation to the man that was created is the same word which is used in Genesis chapter 1 in relation to other animals. The fish and the beasts of the field had the same breath or soul in them as man did. So when we go to the scriptures, we find certain things like souls die. And we could quote from Jeremiah chapter 18, where the expression appears, the soul that sins, it shall die. Now, that's rather complex, because if the word immortal soul is true, then how come immortal souls can die when immortal means not capable of dying? So we have a contradiction of terms. The scriptures speak of souls living, of souls breathing, of souls giving birth, of souls being hungry, of souls being thirsty, and of souls dying. It's not about some immortal spark that's within man that leaves the body upon death. The soul is the man. That is the person. And that's the way it speaks of in Scripture. Immortal souls comes from pagan beliefs. If we go to the letter that Paul wrote to Timothy, he says to them that the believers are to be very careful, because he says of them that they shall turn away their ears from the truth and shall be turned unto fables. Go to Encyclopedia Britannica, look up the idea of immortal souls and find out where it got its origin for today. And you'll find that it's found in Greek literature. It was proposed 1,000 years BC. The Greeks reasoned about the mortality or the immortality of the soul and agreed with their conclusions that man has an inner spark which leaves the body and goes to heaven. Whereas, when we look at Scripture, we find that it tells us quite bluntly that in many places the person who is dead, he knows not anything, and that a living dog is better than a dead lion. And therefore, in life, a man is a soul. In death, he is a dead soul. There's no such thing as the immortality of the soul. Read your Bible and see what it has to say about it.